Okay, before you start, I know this is a new Audi SUV. It's the new Q3.
Wait, how did you know? You didn't even have to look at the four rings to guess.
Well, they let me drive it last week.
That's cheating. Well, I bet you didn't even look at the boot once and you were asleep during the design briefing.
Actually, I managed to stay awake, at least for the driving part.
Okay.
But I know this is a new Audi SUV because of the big octagonal front grille. Audi calls that the single frame grille, and it's on all the new Audi SUVs. And then of course there are the slim, stylish LED headlights and taillights, which are very strong Audi brand signatures.
Right, and all those things give the Q3 a very sporty, modern and charismatic presence. But you know, the single frame grille isn't the only thing that has grown on the Q3 because it's a lot larger than it used to be. And design-wise, it has all the things that the newest Audi SUVs should have. Now, there are a lot of cues from the Q8 Coupe SUV. Let's check out the sloping roofline, the strong flanks of the car. We also have the pulse orange paintwork, and we have contrast fenders that house big wheels. Now these are 18-inch wheels and you can go all the way up to 20s.
Right, so it has the kind of presence on the road that all the big Audis have.
Exactly. So let's take a look at the back, which has all the dad stuff that you missed. Okay, to kick off, we have an electric tailgate. So I'm just going to open this up to reveal the cavernous boot. Now this has 530 to 675 litres of space. That's 215 litres more than its predecessor. There are 40, 20, 40 split folding seats. If you put them all down, you get a vaguely amazing 1,525 litres of space in total. And you see this wide loading aperture? That's another trick right there. You can put the tonneau cover into the folding shelf underneath. So no more leaving it at your in-laws' house.
Okay, now when it comes to the in-laws, I am a complete beast of burden, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But hang on a minute, you said 530 to 675 litres with the seats up. Now, how does that work?
Okay, so why don't you hop onto the second row of seats and I will show you. So how is it in there?
It's actually like a big SUV. You mentioned that this car's grown a bit, and you weren't kidding. I mean, there's space for my everything.
Yeah, that's right. You can fit your colossal noggin, so that is a really good start. But what I was saying about the variable boot space, the clever thing is, it's because these seats are actually adjustable. So try it out. You can go forward, you can go backward, you can adjust the seat back angle as well.
Okay, I can see how that would be really useful for families or people with odd-shaped things to carry around.
Right.
But you know what, when I look at the front of the car, I see all this high-tech stuff, and I'm quite familiar with it. So this time, I'll explain.
Okay.
Okay, I got this. Now, this looks a little bit like what you get in the very posh Audi Q8. And this time you can see that the emphasis for this cockpit is all on digitalization and connectivity. And just like how the exterior has a new design, it's all new inside here as well, with a lot of stuff that looks like it comes from bigger and more expensive cars. You've got the 12.3-inch Audi Virtual Cockpit Plus system, which is not just lovely to look at, but actually also quite nice to use.
Right, and I know that this system also has two new additional view modes. One is called Dynamic, the other is Sport, and there's all the information a driver really needs to see at his fingertips, such as the speed limit for people like you. But other than that, you also have things like navigational cues, maps, your phone book, your media info, fuel efficiency, and mileage.
Now, here on my left is the new 10.1-inch Audi MMI Touch infotainment system. Now, Audi's modeled this after a smartphone, so it's actually really simple and intuitive to use. And it's customizable as well, so you can have it exactly the way you like it.
And it's really clean looking now, right?
Yeah, the interface is actually a lot cleaner, and it's easier to get to what you need with fewer steps and fewer menus to navigate through. Everything you need is only a few clicks away.
And speaking of smartphones, just like every other MMI touch display system, this one can communicate directly with your smartphone via Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So if you have an iOS phone or an Android phone, you can access your favorite apps on the MMI screen natively.
And as usual, Audi goes even further than that. With the My Audi app, you can even send a destination from your smartphone straight into the car, and it'll receive it the moment you get in. Just before we set off, I really want to show you a lifesaver. There's a 360-degree view camera that allows you to view the car from multiple angles, so you never have to worry about those nasty curbs or horrible obstacles.
So that's one barrier to SUV ownership obliterated. And to speak of breaking barriers down, I also love the new Audi Connect service, which is a 4G internet service that's on the car itself and not on the phone. So so it can give you things like Google search capability, parking spots and pricing, fuel pricing, and even weather all at your fingertips, so no fear of missing out at all.
If you'd like to find out more about Audi Connect, click the top right button for an in-depth video walkthrough.
And I think it's no lie to say that the Q3 really impressed the both of us with the way it drives.
And it's got a 1.4-litre TFSI engine that's turbocharged, so you know there's going to be a generous spread of usable power, but also with efficiency. So it's got 150 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of grunty torque. And it drives the front wheels through a dual-clutch S-tronic transmission.
Yeah, from where I'm standing, it really made everything look really easy.
Well, it is an SUV, so of course you get great visibility, but the engine itself feels really unstressed and it's actually quite smooth and refined.
I see, and as a passenger, I had nothing to complain about. You know, it's really quiet, it rides pretty well for an SUV with big wheels, and I, for one, am very, very pleased that the Q3 is looking out for me.
You're talking about Audi Presence. Now that's the system that alerts you to potential hazards on the road, and it can even brake for you autonomously if it has to.
That's a really useful feature to have in Singapore or anywhere else.
But I think what will really get people is that this car is bigger than before, but it's also more efficient. Now the quoted fuel consumption figure is 7.2 litres per 100 kilometers. Of course, your results may vary in the real world, but I've done the sums, and you can get up to 830 kilometers from a single tank of fuel.
Wow, that's enough to get you to KL and back easily. Now, with all we've seen, the new Audi Q3 is really starting to look like a straightforward choice for drivers in Singapore because it's bigger, it's better, it looks, it feels, and it drives just like its big brothers do.
And let's not forget the nifty new digital cockpit. And thanks to all that connectivity, no more fear of missing out. But you know what? I think there's a drawback to this car.
Really? A drawback?
I think the new Q3 is going to be so popular that you're going to have to queue for it.
Oh, God.